Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about the red flags that you may have missed while you were in a relationship with a narcissist. Somebody asked me, they said, can a narcissist fake a relationship for a long time? And the answer to that is, yeah, they could fake it for a long time, but eventually their true colors are going to come out. And there's always red flags. There's always red flags. So the problem is that either you missed the red flags or you didn't know that they were a red flag, okay? So I'm going to go over the red flags you may have missed. And that's why the narcissist was able to fake the relationship for so long. Number one red flag that a lot of people miss is the narcissist disappears on them and ghosts them, okay? This is a huge red flag that the narcissist probably has something else going on or has another supply. But so many people are gaslit, and the narcissist tells them, oh, I'm busy, or this or that, or they don't even realize the narcissist just comes back and the person, says something to the narcissist, and the narcissist just makes excuses like, oh, I fell asleep or something like that. And that's why they didn't call them all night. So disappearing and ghosting is a huge red flag that you may have missed while in that relationship. Another red flag that you may have missed, okay, is how the narcissist speaks to you. In the beginning, the narcissist is very nice, very kind, accommodating. But once that narcissist feels that they've got you, they're going to talk down to you, and their tone is going to have a lot of contempt, all right? They're going to talk to you, in a very authoritative type of way, talk down to you like you're nothing, have a nasty attitude with you. So how they speak to you tells you a lot because, narcissists, they eventually talk to their supply like they're garbage, all right? So this is a huge red flag. That's not somebody who loves you, okay? That's not somebody who loves you. Somebody who loves you is going to respect you and talk to you in a respectful manner, but a narcissist feels they can speak to you in any which way. So that is a red flag, you guys, that this person has no respect for you. They may start devaluing you, all right? Again, if they start devaluing you, that's when the narcissist has pretty much checked out of the relationship, and that is a red flag. Now they feel comfortable. They could talk to you any which way. So that usually signals that the narcissist doesn't care. They're just hanging in there because they're using you for something, but they don't care because they have another supply, all right? Another red flag that a lot of people miss are sarcastic jabs. This is your covert narcissist, the sarcastic, passive-aggressive, behaviors that they have. They'll constantly put you down, call it a joke. Oh, I was just joking. When in fact, it's a passive-aggressive way to throw you a jab and put you down, all right? You need to recognize this. See, a lot of people don't realize they're dealing with a covert narcissist because they don't recognize the passive-aggressive behaviors that they use to try to hurt you. This is how covert narcissists hurt you, is with passive-aggressive behaviors. And I'm going to go into a whole thing about this, a whole podcast, and speak about this. Now, another red flag that you guys may have missed while in the relationship is that the narcissist was withholding affection. They were telling you they didn't want to have sex, they were tired, they were not putting their arm around you, they were not cuddling with you. Sex was just sex, and then they get up and they, don't want to know you. There's no intimacy. This is a huge red flag. A huge red flag. Just because somebody is having sex with you doesn't mean they love you, okay? Doesn't mean they love you because they're not connecting with you. There's not that intimacy, and narcissists don't want to be close with you, all right? They don't want to get that close because they don't want to, they don't want to connect with you in that way and get hurt. So there's always a wall up, especially with the covert narcissist. Now, another huge red flag that you guys missed was that the narcissist gives you the silent treatment. And that's usually your your covert narcissist gives you the silent treatment, okay? Anytime you say something they don't like, or you do something they don't like, ooh, they run silent on you, okay? They love to run silent on you, and you're sitting there wondering, what did you do? What did you do? They love holding that power over you, where you're mystified and you don't know what you did, because you're dealing with a covert narcissist who doesn't communicate directly. Again, it's passive aggressive behavior. And, a lot of people don't recognize this. When I was in my marriage to a covert narcissist, I didn't realize that I was dealing with a covert narcissist at the time. It wasn't until years later that when I got out and I educated myself inside out about covert narcissism, I said to myself, oh my gosh, this guy was all a covert narcissist. And then I was able to relate it to the other people in my family and everybody. And I said, this is the covert narcissist. They work in a passive aggressive type of manner. So it's not just that, they can't communicate. No, they're being passive aggressive. And that's a red flag that you could be dealing with a narcissist. Another red flag, they're dismissing you. Okay. You send them texts, they don't respond, or they ignore them, or you say something to them, they act like they don't hear you, okay? Huge red flag that you're in a relationship with somebody who could be narcissistic, and especially the covert narcissist. Okay, running down my list, you guys, I made this huge list of red flags that you may have missed. Another red flag is their refusal to validate you, okay? When you're in a loving, caring relationship, the person will want to build you up, right? But when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they don't build you up. They want to tear you down. And one of the ways they do that is by never, ever validating you, okay? So they have a refusal to validate you. Another red flag that you guys missed was when the narcissist lies by omission. They tell you part of a story and not the whole story, or they withhold information from you. You find out later that they did something they never told you about, and you question them about that, and they say, oh, well, I didn't want to say anything to you because I know how you get, or they lie and they say things like, they say, oh, I didn't want to, I know how you get, or something. And they lie by omitting information, not telling you things. And then you find out later certain things that they have done, and they feel justified in not having to tell you certain things. They keep secrets. Again, what are we talking about? We're talking about the covert narcissist, and they're very insidious in their behaviors. And that's why it takes years for people to recognize that they're even dealing with a covert narcissist, because of this insidious passive-aggressive behavior. All right, another thing that you missed, you guys, excuse me, is the over-the-top love bombing. All right, people don't realize this. Narcissists, when they love bomb, a lot of them, they're over the top. What does that mean? They kill you with kindness, flattery, to the point of fakeness, all right? So they're going to be overly nice when they want something out of you. And they're going to be overly nice when they hoover you, too, when they come back. That's a red flag. That you have to say to yourself, if somebody's being over the top nice, okay? Now, this is for the trolls in the back that say, well, just because somebody's nice doesn't mean they're a narcissist. We're not talking about just because somebody's nice. We're talking about fake, phony nice. We're talking about somebody that you don't even know, who's offering to take care of your kids, pick up your kids, and they don't even know you, okay? Why would somebody do that? Because they're trying to, get something out of you. So they may be over the top to you, over the top nice to your kids. It's all, calculated to get something. All right, moving along, red flags you have missed. And the next one, I'm going to say, I had clients, all right, who had narcissists who were after money. And one of the things I asked them was, did the narcissist ever bring up money to you? Okay. And it's not till later on that they say, oh yeah, they brought up about, this, or they brought up about my pension fund, or and I said to them, that is a red flag. That is a red flag. If a narcissist brings up money any which way, okay, they ask you how much money you make, they ask you, do you rent or you own, they ask, to borrow money from you, anything with money, that is a huge red flag. That is a red flag that you could be dealing with a manipulative narcissist who's trying to size up your money situation to get money out of you. Now, if they're after sex, they're going to be bringing up sexual things. They'll be saying things like, oh, I really want to give you a massage. Oh, I want to cuddle with you, when they don't even know you, okay? Another huge red flag, you guys, that you may have missed. People that are talking to you like that when they don't even know how many kids you have or know what you do for work, that's a red flag. You're dealing with a narcissist who's after sex, all right? Another red flag that you may have missed, and I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, is the lack of intimacy, okay? You feel alone. You feel like a roommate. You feel detached from this person. And it is because you are detached from this person. You're going to feel that lack of intimacy from a covert narcissist. They're the ones who are going to make you feel alone, make you feel, isolated, not want to be too close to you. Like I said, they could have sex with you, but they won't have any kind of intimacy with you because they don't want to get too close to you. And that's a surefire sign you're dealing with a covert narcissist, okay? That may have been a red flag that you missed. Another red flag that a lot of people miss is the excuses that narcissists give you. They make constant promises that they're going to do things with you, and they never follow through. Red flag, okay? Red flag. This is a big red flag that you could be dealing with a covert narcissist. They love to give excuses. Oh, we're going to take that vacation together. Oh, we're going to, get married in 4 months. Oh, we're going to have this. Oh, we're going to have that. When they have no intentions of that, they make promises. They never follow through. That is a red flag. The person is not following through. That is a red flag that you're dealing with a narcissist, okay? Now, another huge red flag that a lot of people miss, okay, is the confusion when being with a narcissist, all right? When you're dealing with a straight up person, the real deal, there is no confusion. There is only clarity. But when you deal with a narcissist, there's always a word salad. You ask them a question about something like, where were you? Or I saw you looking at somebody, and what do you get? You get a word salad. They say, oh, the board up there, I was looking at the board, I was watching the sports game and this going on. I wasn't doing that. I was watching this or I was watching that. Or you get gaslighting where they say, oh, you're so controlling. Oh, you're so jealous. Oh, you're so sensitive. So now you're thrown into a state of confusion. You don't know if what they're saying is the truth or what you think in your gut is the truth. So when you find that you feel that feeling of confusion, you don't know whether to believe the narcissist, ding, 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 you're dealing with a shady narc, okay? You're dealing with a shady narc. Anytime you have to sit there and be like, I don't know if they're telling me the truth. Well, guess what? 99% of the time, they're not telling you the truth. They're confusing you, okay? They're giving you two truths with a lie, and this is confusing you. So you're dealing with a shady narcissist, and they will confuse you and give you that cognitive dissonance. This is how they give you the cognitive dissonance. You think about the narcissist, oh, so loving, oh, so nice to your kids, oh, so wonderful in the bedroom, and then you have the other part of your brain that thinks of the narcissist as this cruel person who is freezing you out, giving you the silent treatment, devaluing you, body shaming you, and everything else, all right? What do you believe? You believe the one that's tearing you apart. That's what you believe, okay? Because that's the truth coming out of the narcissist. But this is what causes the confusion. But the point is, the red flag is the confusion. The minute that you feel the confusion is the minute that you know you're dealing with a toxic person. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably a narcissistic person who's trying to confuse you. They're gaslighting you. This is what they do. They gaslight. Gaslighting is one of the biggest tools of the narcissist. This is how they're able to manipulate people, by confusing them, by making people think they're telling them the truth, okay? That's why I always say, you got to know you're gaslighting, you guys, and you'll be able to spot them. Next, big red flag, you're dealing with a narcissist, and a big red flag that you may have missed. They're needing to control everything. Narcissists constantly need to control everything. They've got to be the one driving the car. They've got to pick out what restaurant you go to. They've got to pick out where they want to go on vacation. They're always controlling how you parent the kids. They're controlling how you clean the house, how you cook. They're constantly controlling. Why did you do this? Why did you put that over here? Why did you put this in the cabinet there? Why did you wipe down the sinks in the bathroom this way? You should have done it that way. Why did you clean the garbage pail this way? You should have done it that way. Why did you leave the clothes here? You should have put them there. Okay? The great correctors. Red flag, you're dealing with a narcissist who needs control, who needs to constantly control everything, okay? So you guys, I'm moving along. These are all the red flags you could have missed while you were in the relationship. And you just thought, well, this is normal things that everybody goes through. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not normal things that everybody goes through. That's the differentiation. A healthy relationship, they're not looking to control everything. A healthy relationship, there is no confusion. A healthy relationship, people aren't constantly making excuses or ghosting on you or lying by omission or giving you the silent treatment or giving you sarcastic jabs. That's not a healthy relationship, okay, when somebody's doing that to you. So these are the red flags that you missed, and you were in a toxic relationship. Now, I'm almost done with the red flags that you missed, you guys. And that's why these narcissists may have been in a relationship for a while and you missed them, is that they're critical and judgmental. Narcissists are very critical, judgmental of everything, okay? Everything you do, everything you say, the way you look, they're always going to sit there and they're going to put their 2 cents in. And they're always going to make you feel lousy about yourself, because this is what they want to do. They want to cut you up in order to lift themselves up. So they have to be critical and judgmental, and it makes them feel superior to say, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, or to criticize how you dress or how you look, or to body shame you, makes them feel better. Makes them feel better to say something, that looks good on you, that dress is okay, but, it'll look better if you lost 10 pounds, or, body shame you if you have stretch marks after having a baby or something like that. Okay, like you have to be this perfect person for the narcissist, and they're not a loving, caring person trying to, realize that you just had their baby or something like that. And I just saw this, mention on one of these reality shows where she says, how she was body shamed, and, how she had stretch marks, and he was body shaming her for it when she had a baby and everything. And that's typical of what narcissists will do. They will body shame you, let's say, after you've been pregnant and you haven't lost the weight, or, let's say you're depressed, and they will body shame you for something about that too, okay? When they don't realize that maybe you're going through something. Maybe you're suffering from depression. Maybe you're suffering from anxiety. Maybe you have a lot of stress on your back. Maybe you're dealing with a lot, children and responsibilities or whatever, okay? And the narcissist, instead of having empathy for what you're going through, instead wants to put you down. So typical of narcissists. They want to be critical, judgmental, and they have no empathy. biggest red flag you're dealing with a narcissist is the lack of empathy that they have for you, and especially when you're going through something. They are not somebody you want when you're down, okay? Trust me when I tell you, because I know what that is, and it's one of the most horrible things in life is to be going through something difficult in your life and then to be surrounded by narcissists, okay? Because that's when you're really going to see who's got you and who doesn't. And the narcissist definitely doesn't have you, all right? That's because they have no empathy. They don't care that you're suffering. So that's a big red flag. If they don't have empathy for you, if they're critical, judgmental, red flag, I'm dealing with a narcissist, okay? Moving along, okay, to my list of red flags you may have missed. One of the red flags you may have missed is that in the beginning, narcissists, they bombard your phone, they fill your phone with calls, texts, and everything else, right? They make you feel loved, they make you feel wanted, they give you constant attention. Once they've got you, okay, all of a sudden, those calls diminish, all right? You're lucky if you get one call, good morning, beautiful, or you get good morning with a kissy emoji, okay? They love the kissy emojis, but all of a sudden it's run cold, it's run dark on you, okay? That is a red flag, and that's not normal. That's not normal. Yeah, people come on strong in the beginning of a relationship, but with the narcissist, it's extremes. It starts at the top and then it goes down. It goes downhill. The relationship goes downhill. Whereas a healthy relationship starts at the bottom and it progresses up. It builds traction and it moves up the hill. It gets better in time. With a narcissist relationship, it's going to get worse with time. So that's a huge red flag. The phone calls and the text messages are going to get, they're going to get less and less and less. And you're just going to feel very much alone. You're going to feel alone. A big red flag. You're with a narcissist. And I said this because I went through it with a covert narcissist, is that you're going to feel like you're living with a roommate. I brought this up. It got copied over and over again. And I went through this, okay? I went through this in my marriage where I felt like I was living with a roommate, okay? The only way you would know something like that is if you went through something like that, okay? So that's why I'm bringing this up. And that's why I say to you guys, when you take advice from people, okay, or you listen to people, one of the things you need to ask yourself is, have they gone through that in order to know that, okay? Because it's only the people that have gone through things that would know certain things, okay? Like maybe, for instance, being married to a narcissist. That's why a lot of therapists aren't good, okay? There's a lot of therapists that actually suck because they've never been married to a narcissist, and yet you're going to this person trying to get therapy from them, and they don't even know, they don't have one clue as to what you're going through, okay? So this is what I'm trying to say. When you get your advice or you go to somebody for advice, go to somebody who's actually, like if you're going to somebody for like counseling for, co-parenting, go to somebody who's gone through that and knows and can advise you. That's your best resource. Somebody who had to co-parent with somebody else. They'll be able to tell you better than anybody else how to do it, okay? It's like with autism in the autism group. Nobody tells you better than the parents, the seasoned parents that have been through it. They'll tell you more than any doctor will ever tell you. How do I know? Because I have been through it. I have gotten better information and valuable information from the parents that have gone through it better than all the psychiatrists that I went to that gave me horrible advice, didn't know what they were doing, only looked to medicate. They love to just throw a pill at somebody, okay? Always looking to just medicate, just put a pill. That's the answer. I'm not about that. I'm not for those meds or anything like that. The only time you have to medicate is when you absolutely, absolutely have to. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's the people that have lived through enough life, married, divorced, co-parented, been through a lifelong relationship with somebody. These are the people that could help you the most because they know what it is. They know better than anybody else because they have lived through it for many, many years. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right? When you're thinking about counseling and who to go to, it's like usually when I go like for somebody like for therapy or people for like my kids or somebody like that, if I want to get them a therapist, I always look for people with many, many, many years experience because then I generally know they've had the experience and they're usually good. Okay. They're usually good because they have that experience. So the point in all this is this. Okay. You miss these red flags and the bottom line is you can't go back. You have to just deal with it, move forward. And these are the red flags that you missed, you guys. I missed them. When I was in my marriage, I missed all that passive aggressive. I didn't even know what was going on. I just figured we had a communication problem here. He was not able to communicate. I thought, that was normal. That's why people go to couples therapy. They have a communication problem. Well, not when you're dealing with a covert narcissist who's using passive aggressive behaviors. This is what they do, is their passive aggressive behavior. So it's not that they have a communication problem. It's that this is how they communicate, okay? That's the difference. And you're not just going to change somebody like that overnight. Trust me when I tell you, especially if they don't have to. It never works out. When you're going to therapy with a covert narcissist, they're going to pretend that they're the victim. They're going to pretend that, they're really, really trying and everything. When deep down, they're just going to keep doing it and doing it in another way. And they're actually very sadistic because covert narcissists are sadistic. They love to trick you. They love to deceive you. And they love to play mind games and mind fuck you. That's what they love to do. So, they're not genuine. They're not authentic. So you'll get nowhere with a covert narcissist in therapy, all right? Trust me when I tell you that. So these are the red flags you missed, you guys. I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the video. If you're looking for coaching, check out the link in the bio. I have limited time. Also, check out my YouTube at the Game Exposed podcast. I think I'm almost up to 7,000 videos on there. I cover everything on narcissism on my YouTube, pretty much. And my TikTok is The Game Exposed, Facebook, The Game EXP123, and Instagram, The Game EXP123. And have a great day.